Hello everybody, welcome back to Star-Crossed Kings. We have a new challenger. This is the continuation of the second reign. CaptainSPrice is still the king, and we have challenger number 7 stepping up to try and dethrone CaptainSPrice, and it's going to be Cheese. The map today is Kolodny Ferma Summer. Cheese playing as Soviets in the east, CaptainSPrice playing as Oberkommando West in the west. Again, another reminder, CaptainSPrice has defeated Jezelin, Lovenest, Cruz, Paul. The victories are stacking up, and it seems that nobody can take this guy down. Let's see if Cheese can make it happen where others have failed. He's actually already chosen his commander. He's going with defensive tactics, which is extremely weird. I don't know what I think about that decision. Kind of an interesting call against CaptainSPrice's build. We know that he goes with the super early mechanized regiment headquarters, already going up there in his base. Going to give that a try. Gave it a try on Famenville. It certainly worked quite well. He's going to do the exact same thing here on Kolodny Ferma Summer. So let's see if defensive tactics can take on this strategy. It's a very low CP commander. Maybe he can take advantage of its early features to apply some early pressure to this build. Again, starting off with only 2 squads, while that mechanized regiment headquarters builds will probably cost CaptainSPrice a lot of map control here in the beginning of the game. And if the Soviet player can capitalize on that, maybe he can try and contain him and shut him down early. Of course, it does mean that he gets out that very quick flak half-track, so we're also going to want to see Cheese build some kind of counter to that flak half-track preemptively. Early anti-tank grenade research. Ooh, I'm not sure what I think about this decision. He has gone tier 1. 3 conscripts into tier 1, which will leave him a little vulnerable to that flak half-track once it hits the field. I don't think we've seen any Soviet players even attempt tier 1 against CaptainSPrice's build. I'm not sure if I think it's going to succeed, though. Of course, the M3 will be quite good before the flak half-track arrives, and if he can prevent CaptainSPrice from even getting control of 1 fuel point, he may delay it slightly, because he will need to get up to 55 fuel just to be able to field it. With fuel transfer active the entire game, it comes out very quick if he can get control of 1 fuel point. So far, this engagement does not seem to be going in Cheese's favor, as CaptainSPrice has secured building control here. He's trying to force those Sturm Pioneers out, but he does not have Molotovs yet. And now that his M3 is completed, it's making its way up the right side. And combat engineers are currently occupied over here on the left, so no flamethrower going into that M3, so no way of forcing his opponent from these buildings. But that M3 may be able to pressure these Sturm Pioneers off the fuel point. Drive straight in. Sturm Pioneers will be flushed out of the capture circle. M3 dealing significant damage to the squad, probably going to force the retreat relatively soon. Volksgrenadiers, however, have moved up into the capture circle to try and get that going. Combat engineers moving across the south to try and get that territory under control. These conscripts are taking heavy damage. They are in green cover, but they'll both be forced to retreat soon. Not a whole lot of health remaining on either of those squads. Conscripts charge into the capture circle to continue trying to delay that flak half-track. Fuel transfer still active, and CaptainSPrice is up to 45 fuel. Still has a little ways to go before he can get that flak half-track on the field. Capturing this fuel point would definitely go a long way towards getting it out that much quicker. First flamethrower just got purchased, and the second squad of combat engineers on the field. He has managed to capture the fuel point up here, bringing him up to 19 fuel coming in per minute, and he's going to get to the 55 he needs for his flak half-track by the time he's got the manpower to field it, so probably no more tier 0 purchases are going to get forced. He did manage to force the Raketenwerfer here as a response to his M3, which may be a good thing for him. Flak half-track is now in production, and the M3 has moved down here towards these combat engineers for repairs, and once they hop in with their flamethrower, maybe he can continue to circle around looking for targets, avoiding that Raketenwerfer, and inflict some manpower bleed on his opponent. Anti-tank grenades have been researched, so he is preemptively preparing for that flak half-track. He knows it's coming. Knows exactly what he's going to be up against. And that's probably why he invested so heavily into conscripts rather than a bunch of tier 1 units, like penal battalions or snipers. Because he knows that flak half-track is on the way. He wanted the M3 to apply early pressure to his opponent's fuel point, but now he's transitioned into that anti-tank grenade research. Uh-oh. Nice Rakettenwerfer positioning by CaptainSPrice. Doesn't quite get the shot off. M3 makes it behind that hedge and will start flaming the Volksgrenadiers out of that building. Minesweeper squad over here will spot the Rakettenwerfer's positioning before being forced to retreat. And the M3 will continue to hide behind this hedgerow. Get around the house. And the flak half-track is on the field, makes its way towards the munitions point to try and push those conscripts out of cover. They don't quite make it to safety before being suppressed and will be forced to retreat. Meanwhile, a couple squads here in the base doing what they can, and there is the light anti-tank gun being fielded from defensive tactics, which, since he did not go tier 2, he is going to attempt to utilize to take out that flak half-track. So he's got an M3 with a flamethrower for heavy anti-infantry duties. We could see a squad wipe here, and that light anti-tank gun is being fielded to try and deal with the flak half-track. And it's quite effective against it. Full squad of Volksgrenadiers does go down. Panzer Fusiliers have started getting fielded. His manpower bleed is quite significant here. Only 135 manpower currently, so that second squad of Fusiliers is going to take some time. Light anti-tank gun has made its way to the front line, so it should be able to screen away that flak half-track from getting too aggressive. Has to be careful with it, though. Those Fusiliers are going to try and screen it away. Flak half-track moving up to engage this Rakettenwerfer. This is going to be, this engagement could come down to micro a little bit. M3 has to continue circling around. Rakettenwerfer takes a shot at the anti-tank gun for whatever reason. Flak half-track moves back slightly, sets up, and forces it to retreat. From that conscript squad, neither player's light vehicle has gone down yet. Panzer Fusiliers probably going to be pressured into retreating soon. Oh, that M3 should not make this maneuver. Takes a lot of damage from the flak half-track right there. Barely survives. Light anti-tank gun moves up to try and fire on that flak half-track. Should he obtain vision once again, and during this engagement, conscripts are making their way towards the fuel and munitions points to take control of those resource points. So he has he's definitely got CaptainSPrice on the ropes here, which he needs to. Ooh, what's that flak half-track doing? Got way too close right there. That was a huge misplay. Huge misplay by CaptainSPrice. We could see that flak half-track go down. Just a small arms fire here. Looks like it's going to. There it goes. Flak half-track goes down just to driving into two squads of conscripts. That is a huge mistake. Huge mistake by CaptainSPrice. Cheese is now going to fly into the lead here. Not very many counters on the field to that M3 with the flamethrower inside, which is still alive. Once he hops back inside that M3, he will have not much problem hunting down and killing lone infantry squads. He can hunt and kill the Sturms, hunt and kill the Panzer Fusiliers, hunt and kill any Volksgrenadier squad that does not have a Panzerschreck. Doesn't really have the munitions for Panzerschreck since, of course, he has had fuel transfer on pretty much the entire game and not much of any map control. Rakettenwerfer does get a nice hit on that M3 as it's making its way up here, though. I think it's dead. Rakettenwerfer takes it out. Nice usage of the Rakettenwerfer by CaptainSPrice again to try and level the playing field. Merges with that flamethrower with the conscripts, try and keep them on the battlefield a little bit longer. Conscripts are going to keep working on the fuel, and Price is rotated totally towards the south, try and get control of the strategic and victory points down here. Sturm Pioneers rotating towards the center to take control of that victory point. CaptainSPrice is currently on 50 fuel, so he's got quite a ways to go before he can get that Jagdpanzer out, which we know is his, generally his next big fuel purchase. Cheese has 90 fuel in the bank, just built tier 3, could get a T-70 out very quick. In fact, he could build it right now if he wanted to. And I suspect that will be his next purchase, unless he wants to just double down on infantry and punish the fact that his opponent's flak half-track is dead and not have to worry about this Rakettenwerfer. And again, one Rakettenwerfer is not much of a deterrent. Not much anti-tank at all. So, Cheese has a lot of options here. He has a lot of options, and he might just choose to swarm or mass T-34s. He has floated up to 100 fuel now, so it looks like that might be what he's thinking. Not sure. Still no purchase. Still no tier 3 purchase. Little busy microwing engagements, I guess. Making his first... There it is. So T-34 has chosen T-34 rather than T-70. Conscripts moving in on Panzer Fusiliers here on the victory point in the south.
Stay mobile! Fire and adjust! Panzer Fusiliers assigned to the front.
Light AT gun doesn't really have a job anymore. Now that the flak half-track is dead, it's simply being used to capture territory. Probably the best thing it can do is backcapping. It's actually a pretty cheap backcapping squad, since it's only 200 manpower, but of course the fact that it can't retreat leaves it vulnerable to counter-harassment. But with the flak half-track dead, not a whole lot to worry about in that regard. Panzer Fusiliers moving up to take control of the strategic point right there. Conscripts taking this strategic point on the left. And the first T-34 has rolled onto the field with 29 fuel coming in per minute, 35 at any moment when he owns this. Those T-34s are going to be coming out pretty quick. And until CaptainSPrice's Jagdpanzer arrives, it's going to be very vulnerable to it. CaptainSPrice is about to make his way to the 90 munitions he needs to get a Panzerschreck or G43s. Once he sees that T-34, he may feel pressure to get a Panzerschreck. Looks like the Rakettenwerfer is the very first target that T-34 finds, and if it decrews or steals or destroys this, CaptainSPrice will have no anti-tank at all. 2 consecutive shots just missed, and it looks like that Rakettenwerfer is going to get to safety, fortunately for him. Conscripts taking control of the strategic and munitions points here, and we're going to see some light anti-personnel mines going down from those combat engineers. Ooh, retreating over that anti-personnel mine threatens to wipe the squad. It falls extremely low. Once it crosses this red cover, it'll be quite vulnerable to the hauling coaxial guns from that T-34. There it is, Sturm Pioneer squad wiped. Nice placement on that anti-personnel mine combined with the chasing T-34 wipes out that Sturm Pioneer squad. And CaptainSPrice is just way behind on manpower, having spent a lot on these 3 squads of Panzer Fusiliers and another Rakettenwerfer. That Sturm Pioneer squad is going to be very expensive to replace. Rakettenwerfer moves up to put pressure on the T-34 there in the middle. Anti-tank grenade from the Panzer Fusiliers squad before retreating to damage the engine. Volksgrenadiers in the building are falling dangerously low, but the flamethrower on that combat engineer squad just popped. Oh, get that T-34 moving! Get it out of there! Rakettenwerfer's probably going to get another shot off. 1 hit from death on that T-34. If those Rakettenwerfers can get in range, it's done, but on this road, I think it should be alright. Oh no, look at this flank from CaptainSPrice! Panzer Fusiliers taking out the conscripts down here. Oh, and that T-34 just got abandoned! Abandoned in range of this Volksgrenadier squad! Easily going to be able to recover this. Oh, but the light AT gun! The light AT gun is still on the field and finishes off the T-34 right as CaptainSPrice's Volksgrenadiers jump inside. Nice recovery, very graceful recovery by Cheese right there, but it's unfortunate that he even lost that T-34 there. He really should have been able to preserve that. He let it idle too long in front of that anti-tank weaponry. And CaptainSPrice is kind of gonna be in a sort of okay situation here. The loss of his stern pioneers earlier very much hurt, but he's still got a strong anti-infantry army. He destroyed one T-34, so his opponent will not be able to mass them for a while now. And Cheese has actually gone with a T-70 here to do some harassment of infantry. Looks like he might be able to wipe this Panzer Fusilier squad. Kettenwerfer moves up to screen. Lands one shot, but the Panzer Fusiliers are dead. Anti-personnel mines up here getting a couple kills, I think. Pretty heavy damage on these two infantry squads. There's a lot of anti-personnel mines in this area, so he's going to need to be very careful with his infantry movements, and of course with his stern pioneers dead, getting a new minesweeper is very expensive. CaptainSPrice is trying to just ever so delicately enter that capture circle without moving his infantry too much, doing anything that might cause those squads to get wiped. Combat engineers will be forced to retreat there. And the T-70 makes its way back towards the Soviet base to receive repairs. Cheese currently has a 150 victory point lead over his opponent. CaptainSPrice trying to slow the bleed, taking control of this VP here in the center, making no progress in the north because of those anti-personnel mines. Looks like he may be able to push his opponent away here in the south. Not sure if he saw that anti-personnel mine getting planted or not. Flamethrower may be sufficient. Grenade getting tossed on the mine will probably detonate it. Oh, or not. Grenade does get dodged, but the Fusiliers have not been critted, and they'll win the engagement, force the retreat, and take control of the point here in the south. If that T-70 exposes itself to these two Rakettenwerfers for too long, I mean, one volley could be sufficient to take that T-70 out, but it's actually going to rotate more towards the center here. CaptainSPrice, keeping those Rakettenwerfers together, just needs to get one volley on that T-70 to destroy it. It's going to go in pretty hard here on Price's infantry in the north. Rakettenwerfers don't have a line on it. And that Stern Pioneer squad is forced to retreat. That's a lot of manpower bleed right there, even without the squad getting wiped. Oh no! Thought those conscripts were going to get wiped. Building does not quite collapse. I don't know if he should get inside this building, though. That building has no HP remaining at all. Could go down to small arms fire at any second. Panzer Fusiliers have to retreat, taking heavy damage. Rakettenwerfer moves to get a shot off on the T-70, continues to dance and dodge. Full squad of Panzer Fusiliers wiped right there. T-70 continues driving around looking for opportunities. That's gonna get wiped. Price reduced to almost nothing here. Nothing left on the field. Rakettenwerfer just got stolen. The entire map is in Cheese's hands. He's up to 4 flamethrowers. Or no, 4 combat engineer squads, 1 with the minesweeper, 2 with flamethrowers. He's still got his original 3 conscripts. The only units he's lost this game are 1 T-34 and his M3. Don't think he's lost any full infantry squads, and he's now managed to steal a Rakettenwerfer. He's looking very strong in the manpower game. Quite strong in the fuel game. This Jagdpanzer, of course, is going to level the playing field once it hits comes out. CaptainSPrice managing to slow victory point losses a little bit here with his harassment of the south. T-34 moves in hard to keep on dealing manpower damage, though. Fusiliers will have to retreat immediately. Rakettenwerfer moves up to chase the T-34 away. 1 hit on the rear armor there. These squads reinforcing here in the Soviet base, and again, light AT gun. Contributing quite a bit this match, actually. Successfully screened a flak half-track, destroyed what could have turned into an enemy T-34, and doing lots of backcapping for the low price of 200 manpower. Definitely getting the most out of that unit that he can. Ooh, nice positioning on the T-34. Catches that Jagdpanzer on the flank, but he actually disengages rather than trying to circle strafe it right there. Looks like he's a little busy trying to micro his T-70 there with that Jagdpanzer on the field. I think he's a little hesitant to engage. Building does get destroyed. Jagdpanzer is going to try and hunt down and kill that T-34. Around these tight corners, that may prove difficult. Not really much in the area that can damage that thing's engine right now. It's rotating to continue firing. Anti-tank grenade from these conscripts could damage its engine. Misses its shot on the T-70 right there. T-70 needs to try and get to safety. Jagdpanzer switches targets onto the T-34 here. Jagdpanzer receives engine damage, but the Jagdpanzer destroys the T-34, leaving Bertz now quite behind in the fuel game. 2 T-34s destroyed. Jagdpanzer still on the field with plenty of health, and not a whole lot of anti-tank available from Cheese except for the light AT gun and the stolen Raketenwerfer. With these Sturm Pioneers still on the field, he will have access to some form of repairs. And that, ooh, T-70 gets another huge squad wipe right there. If it wipes those Sturms, that Jagdpanzer will be stuck with permanent engine damage. Somehow they get away. Wow. Incredibly close engagement right there. T-70 now needs to pull away from that Jagdpanzer, but the Raketenwerfer has moved up to fire. Absolutely has to round this corner to get to safety. These conscripts are in a lot of danger. They get another AT grenade off. Third AT grenade brings it quite low. Raketenwerfer is trying to move up to seal the deal with these screening squads. He does have vision. Jagdpanzer needs to be very careful with his movements, and Price must get all anti-tank off the field. A third T-34 is in production from Cheese, and he has 42 fuel coming in, so another 100 fuel in the bank right now. It just doesn't seem like Captain Price can recover from his infantry losses, even if he is somewhat ahead in the tank game. Our Raketenwerfer way in the back here is trying to harass these victory points and slow that drain down with only 77 points remaining. He doesn't have a lot of time to make some sort of miraculous comeback. I don't even know if he can get this Jagdpanzer repaired in time to have meaningful engagements towards the center. Full squad just got wiped. I think that's Cheese's first squad wipe, but I don't even know if it matters. He can't seem to get any victory points under his control. Only 60 now remain. T-34 gets a huge crush and another squad gets wiped. Jagdpanzer's been repaired and tries to chase that thing down. T-34 rounds the corner. Light AT gun is available to screen. This mine did not finish getting planted. Jagdpanzer is going to continue chasing. Light AT gun brings the Jagdpanzer to about 2/3. Jagdpanzer gets a shot on the T-70 instead of the T-34, which has made it outside of his vision range. Jagdpanzer trying to rotate to fire on that T-70, can't do so fast enough. Raketenwerfer is available to protect the flank. Jagdpanzer looks like it could go down here. Light AT gun hits the rear armor. T-70 chases. AT grenade destroys the Jagdpanzer's engine. T-70 moves up to reveal it. T-34 goes down to Raketenwerfer fire there, but the Jagdpanzer is destroyed by the T-70. 15 points now remain. No hope of taking control of any of these. And Cheese, with defensive tactics, shuts Captain Price's breakthrough doctrine down hard. Just absolutely shut him down. Wins with 395 victory points left in the bank. That is a huge game one for Cheese. Taking this tournament by storm a little bit there in game one, but we've seen CaptainSPrice lose game one before and then take it in game two and game three. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen next. Short break, and we're going to jump straight into game two.